Today, I want to talk about a powerful yet simple concept that can completely transform your life. Discipline is often seen as a restriction or something that limits freedom, but in reality, it's the gateway to unlocking our fullest potential. When we discipline our minds and actions, we gain control over our thoughts, habits, and ultimately our destiny. Consistency is the unsung hero of success. While talent, intelligence, and luck might get you started, it's discipline that sustains you in the long run. When you have self-discipline, you create a structured routine that pushes you to take deliberate action every single day, even on days when motivation is lacking or when distractions are overwhelming. This is where the magic happens. The consistent effort, no matter how small it seems at the moment, compounds over time and builds momentum. Think about any goal you've set for yourself, whether it's related to your health, career, or personal development. The only way to make progress and eventually achieve that goal is through consistent action, whether it's waking up early to work on your passion project, exercising regularly, or studying for an important exam. Consistency is what turns effort into results. Without discipline, the chances of quitting before reaching the finish line increase dramatically because the early stages of any goal often feel tough and the rewards seem distant. In fact, consistency builds a rhythm in your life. You begin to establish habits that don't require constant thought or decision-making. It's no longer about debating whether or not to exercise or study. It becomes a part of your routine. For example, if you commit to writing just 300 words a day toward a book or working out for 30 minutes every morning, you may not see immediate, dramatic changes. But over weeks and months, those small, consistent actions accumulate into significant progress. The beauty of consistency is that it becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Each day you show up, even in the face of obstacles, you build confidence in your ability to follow through. This, in turn, makes it easier to keep going. When you see small successes, it becomes more rewarding, and the momentum keeps you moving forward. On the flip side, when you lack discipline and consistency, it's easy to fall into patterns of procrastination, self-doubt, and frustration. The inconsistency leads to starting over repeatedly, which can be draining and demoralizing. This cycle of consistent effort leads to the formation of positive habits that fuel your growth. Take, for instance, someone training for a marathon. In the beginning, running even a mile might seem like a monumental task, but by running consistently every week, the body adapts, and the person becomes stronger. Each run makes the next one easier, and the progress is inevitable. Over time, that disciplined approach leads to success, not only in reaching the goal, but also in shaping the person's identity as someone who can achieve what they set out to do. Moreover, consistency through discipline leads to the mastery of skills. Think about any skill that requires practice: playing an instrument, learning a language, or honing a craft. Mastery is never an overnight achievement, but a process of repetitive, focused practice. When you discipline yourself to practice regularly, even for short periods, the compound effect over time turns you into a true expert. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and putting in the work, day after day. One of the most powerful aspects of self-discipline is the ability to focus on long-term goals, despite the inevitable distractions that will arise in your life. In a world filled with instant gratification, social media, and a constant barrage of information, it's incredibly easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Yet, the ability to remain focused on long-term objectives is what separates those who merely dream from those who actually achieve their dreams. When you develop discipline, you gain the mental clarity to prioritize what truly matters. You no longer chase every fleeting desire or get sidetracked by short-term temptations. Instead, you train your mind to zoom out and keep your focus fixed on your long-term goals, knowing that the smaller momentary rewards aren't nearly as fulfilling as achieving something that will positively impact your life for years to come. Let's break this down. Imagine you have a goal to get in shape. Initially, the journey might feel slow, and the immediate results are almost non-existent. You might see someone else lose weight quickly, or notice an advertisement for a new fitness trend, which can easily distract you. However, if you stay disciplined and remind yourself of your long-term goal, a healthier, stronger body, those momentary distractions lose their power. Rather than looking for shortcuts or giving up when you don't see immediate results, you stick to the routine because you understand that real, lasting change happens over time. By focusing on your long-term health, you are investing in the future self rather than seeking a quick fix. The same concept applies to career or financial goals. In the beginning, you might face struggles that make it difficult to see any real progress. You might have to work long hours, face setbacks, or experience periods of slow growth. But if you focus on the end game, say becoming a successful entrepreneur, earning financial freedom, or mastering your field, you'll find the strength to push through those difficult phases. Self-discipline ensures that you don't give in to frustration or impatience. You remind yourself that this journey is about long-term success, and each setback is just a part of the process that leads to greater achievements. This ability to focus on long-term goals requires a shift in mindset. It's about realizing that success isn't something that happens overnight or in a few months, but rather through consistent, deliberate actions over years. By developing discipline, you understand that every small step you take now, even when it isn't is building a foundation for something much greater in the future. Each day you invest in your goals brings you closer to the life you've envisioned, even if that progress isn't immediately visible. Moreover, focusing on long-term goals means learning to embrace delayed gratification. It's about being able to resist the pull of immediate push in order to gain something much more meaningful later on. This isn't always easy, and it requires making sacrifices in the short term. You might have to forego a night out to finish an important project, or cut back on luxury in order to save money for a future investment. However, those sacrifices pay off in the long run when you see the results of your commitment. By resisting short-term temptations, you create a mindset that values the rewards of hard work and persistence over. Staying focused on long-term goals also means being able to delay the urge to compare yourself to others. In today's world, social media often showcases instant success, making it easy to feel like you're falling behind or that others have it easier. Short discipline teaches you that everyone's journey is unique. Your success doesn't have to follow someone else's timeline, and your long-term goals are valid, regardless of how quickly others seem to achieve theirs. The key is to stay true to your path. Your habits are the invisible force that shapes your life. Often we don't realize just how much of what we do each day is influenced by our routines and habits. Whether you recognize it or not, your daily actions, choices, and behaviors are being dictated by the habits you formed over time. Some habits empower you to succeed and grow, while others hold you back from reaching your full potential. When you develop the discipline to master your habits, you gain control over your life and your future. At the core of mastering your habits is the understanding that success is not necessarily about performing extraordinary actions every once in a while, but about consistently making the right decisions, no matter how small, on a daily basis. In fact, a significant portion of your day is governed by your habits, which means they have a profound impact on your results. The way you start your morning, how you approach work, how you handle setbacks, and even how you unwind at the end of the day are all driven by habits. Over time, these habits build the foundation for your success or failure. For instance, If you wake up each day with the habit of reading for 30 minutes, this small daily action will accumulate over time. In a year, you could have read dozens of books, gained new knowledge, and expanded your perspective. If you make a habit of exercising every morning, you will gradually see improvements in your health, energy levels, and mental clarity. However, if you don't actively work on forming positive habits, it's easy to fall into routines that are detrimental to your goals. You might spend hours scrolling through social media or procrastinating, which ultimately robs you of time and energy that could be invested in more productive activities. Mastering your habits requires awareness and intention. It's not enough to simply go through the motions of life. You need to actively choose the habits that will serve you in the long term. This process starts by identifying the habits you currently have and evaluating whether they're helping or hindering your progress. Are you spending your evenings binge-watching TV shows instead of working on personal projects? Are you constantly reaching for unhealthy snacks instead of nourishing your body with wholesome food? These patterns might feel harmless in the moment, but when compounded over time, they add up and prevent you from reaching your true potential. Once you identify the habits that aren't serving you, the next step is replacing them with healthier, more productive ones. This takes discipline, as it's much easier to continue doing what's comfortable than to break free from old patterns. But this is where real transformation happens. When you actively choose to change your habits, you begin to reshape your identity and your life. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, you start viewing yourself as someone who is proactive, intentional, and focused on growth. One of the most powerful aspects of habit mastery is the ability to break down larger goals into smaller, manageable steps. When you set big goals, such as writing a book, starting a business, or running a marathon, it can feel overwhelming. The key is to turn these big goals into daily habits. For example, if you want to write a book, instead of waiting for inspiration to strike, you make it a habit to write a certain number of words each day. If you want to start a business, you set aside time each day to research, plan, or network. By turning your big goals into daily habits, you make steady progress, and the sense of achievement that comes from consistently showing up fuels your motivation. Discipline plays a central role in habit formation. It's easy to be motivated when you're feeling energized or excited about a new goal, but the real test comes when your initial enthusiasm fades, and you're left with the hard work of maintaining consistency. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to keep going, even when your motivation wanes. It's what helps you push through when the initial excitement of a new habit starts to wear off. Over time, as you continue to practice and reinforce your new habits, they become ingrained in your daily routine, and the effort required to maintain them becomes automatic. Additionally, it's important to remember that habits are not just about what you do, but also about what you avoid. Mastering your habits isn't just about adding productive behaviors, it's also about eliminating distractions, bad habits, and negative influences that derail your progress. For example, if you want to improve your productivity, you might need to eliminate the habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning, which can lead you down a rabbit hole of mindless scrolling. Instead, you could replace it with the habit of immediately starting your day with a positive, focused activity, like reading or journaling. By mastering your habits, you gain control over your actions, and ultimately you gain control over your life. When you build positive habits and discipline yourself to stick to them, you slowly begin to mold yourself into the person capable of achieving your goals. Self-control is one of the most important aspects of personal growth, and it's deeply connected to discipline. In essence, self-control allows you to make better choices in the face of temptation, distractions, and even your own emotional impulses. Whether it's saying no to unhealthy habits, resisting the urge to procrastinate, or avoiding unnecessary indulgences, self-control gives you the power to make decisions that are in alignment with your long-term goals. Without self-control, it's easy to fall into patterns of short-term gratification, which might feel good in the moment, but ultimately work against your broader objectives. One of the main reasons why self-control is so crucial is that life is full of choices, and many of those choices require us to delay immediate rewards for long-term gains. For instance, consider someone who is trying to lose weight. It might be tempting to give in to cravings for junk food, or to skip a workout, especially when they're tired or stressed. However, self-control allows this person to make a choice that aligns with their ultimate goal, eating a healthier meal, resisting temptations, and showing up for their workout. This ability to delay gratification is one of the key factors that separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up at the first sign of discomfort. Discipline directly contributes to increasing self-control. When you practice discipline, you learn how to manage your impulses and stay focused on what truly matters. In the beginning, this process might feel challenging because you're essentially retraining your brain to make different choices. However, the more you practice self-control, the easier it becomes. This is because self-control is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Over time, resisting temptation becomes second nature, and you're able to make decisions that support your long-term happiness and success without even thinking twice about it. Self-control isn't just about resisting the negative. It's also about taking proactive steps to ensure that you stay on track with your goals. For example, it's easy to let distractions derail you in today's world. With notifications from social media, emails, and constant demands for attention, it's tempting to procrastinate and lose focus on important tasks. However, self-control helps you stay disciplined enough to set boundaries, eliminate distractions, and focus on the task at hand. When you can control your attention and prioritize your work, you become much more efficient and productive. Moreover, self-control plays a significant role in how you deal with setbacks. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and challenges are inevitable. In these moments, it's easy to give in to frustration, stress, or even a sense of defeat. But self-control teaches you to handle those emotions in progress. Instead of reacting impulsively, you learn to take a breathe and resets the situation. You understand that setbacks are part of the journey and that how you respond to adversity matters more than the goal. The relationship between self-control and emotional regulation cannot be overstated. Often, we act impulsively based on our emotions, whether it's out of anger, stress, or excitement. These emotional reactions can lead us to make poor decisions, like engaging in arguments, overeating, or procrastinating. Self-control helps you manage these emotional impulses by teaching you to pause and think before reacting. Instead of allowing your emotions to dictate your actions, you start to take a more mindful approach, choosing responses that are measured and intentional. Self-control is also closely linked to making beneficial decisions. Many people struggle with overspending, especially in a consumer-driven society where instant purchases are just a click away. However, when you have self-control, you can resist the temptation to buy things you don't need. You learn to distinguish between what is a genuine need and what is just an impulse or desire. For example, when faced with a purchase, you can ask yourself whether it aligns with your long-term financial goals, such as saving for retirement, paying off debt, or investing in your future. This thoughtful approach leads to better financial management and ultimately greater financial stability. Building self-control also involves learning to say no to things that do not serve your goals. This can be especially difficult when social pressures or obligations come into play. For example, it might be hard to say no to a night out with friends when you know you need to wake up early to work on a project or prepare for an important meeting. However, practicing self-control means understanding that saying no in those moments is a choice that aligns with you. Another critical aspect of self-control is maintaining a balanced lifestyle. While it's important to push yourself to achieve your goals, it's equally important to practice self-control when it comes to rest and recovery. Many people struggle with the idea of taking breaks or giving themselves permission to rest, especially when they are driven by high expectations or external demand. However, part of self-control is recognizing when it's time to step back and recharge. It's about resisting the urge to burn yourself. Ultimately, increasing self-control is about gaining mastery over your impulses, emotions, and actions. It's about making choices. Self-control doesn't mean depriving yourself of enjoyment or spontaneity. It means making conscious decisions that lead to lasting fulfillment. With discipline, self-control becomes an automatic part of your life, and it empowers you to move forward with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Mental toughness is a quality that enables you to persevere through adversity, stay focused in the face of challenges, and continue moving forward even when the road ahead is difficult. It's about having the fortitude to keep going, despite setbacks, discomfort, or obstacles that may try to derail your progress. Developing mental toughness is an essential aspect of discipline, because without it, you may easily give up when things don't go as planned. When you build mental toughness through self-discipline, you equip yourself with the resilience necessary to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life and pursue your goals with determination. The first key to mental toughness is developing the ability to embrace discomfort. Life is not always easy, and the pursuit of meaningful goals often requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. Whether it's learning a new skill, pursuing a challenging career, or pushing your body to its limits, discomfort is a necessary part of growth. With discipline, you learn to accept and even welcome discomfort, knowing that it's a temporary phase that leads to long-term benefits. Instead of running from difficult situations, you lean into them, knowing that facing challenges head-on is what builds both your physical and mental strength. Mental toughness also involves the ability to maintain focus during times of adversity. When things aren't going as planned, it's easy to become distracted or disheartened. You might feel the urge to give up, question your decisions, or lose faith in your ability to succeed. However, with mental toughness, you develop the capacity to stay focused on the end goal, no matter what hurdles arise. Instead of succumbing to negative emotions, you remind yourself that obstacles are a natural part of any meaningful journey. Mental toughness allows you to keep pushing forward with your eyes on the bigger picture, even when the path ahead is unclear or difficult to navigate. One critical component of mental toughness is the ability to bounce back from failure. Failure is inevitable in life, but how you respond to it makes all the difference. Instead of viewing failure as a setback or a reason to quit, mental toughness allows you to view it as an opportunity for growth. Every failure is a lesson in resilience and adaptability, and it gives you the chance to refine your approach. People who are mentally tough don't see failure as a permanent condition. They see it as a stepping stone on the path to success. They use failure as a tool to learn, adjust, and become better, rather than as an excuse to stop trying. A strong sense of mental toughness also means learning to manage stress effectively. Stress is a natural part of life, especially when pursuing ambitious goals or facing high-pressure situations. However, those who are mentally tough know how to handle stress in a way that doesn't derail their progress. Rather than becoming overwhelmed or anxious, they develop coping strategies that help them stay calm, focused, and clear-headed under pressure. Whether it's through deep breathing, meditation, exercise, or positive self-talk, They know how to manage their stress and prevent it from affecting their performance. Another important aspect of mental toughness is the ability to maintain a positive mindset, even when things aren't going well. It's easy to get caught up in negative thinking, especially when you face repeated challenges or encounter setbacks. But mental toughness is built upon the belief that you have control over your attitude and outlook. Rather than focusing on problems, those who are mentally tough focus on solutions. They approach challenges with a mindset of possibility, knowing that no matter how tough the situation may seem, there is always a way forward. This positive mindset empowers them to keep going and find new ways to overcome obstacles, even when the odds seem stacked against them. Mental toughness also requires a high level of self-belief. It's about knowing deep down that you have what it takes to succeed, no matter the challenges that come your way. This belief in yourself is cultivated through discipline and consistent effort. When you discipline yourself to work toward your goals every day, you start to build a track record of success. These small wins, when accumulated over time, reinforce your belief in your abilities and provide the confidence you need to tackle bigger challenges. With mental toughness, you trust that you have the resilience and strength to overcome any difficulties, even when those around you may doubt your abilities. Furthermore, mental toughness is closely tied to perseverance. It's not enough to simply start something. You need to stay committed, even when things get tough. Many people give up too soon because they fail to push through difficult moments. Mental toughness is the driving force that keeps you going when the going gets tough. It's the reason why some people are able to finish what they start, even when it feels like the odds are against them. The mentally tough person knows that persistence is key to achieving anything worthwhile. They view challenges as opportunities to demonstrate their grit and determination. Discipline is a key driver in the development of mental toughness because it helps you build the daily habits and practices that cultivate resilience. When you discipline yourself to work toward your goals, even on the hard days, you are gradually building your mental muscle. You learn that success doesn't come easily or without effort, and you develop the fortitude to keep pushing forward, no matter what. As you push through difficult moments, you begin to realize just how much strength you truly have, and this awareness further fuels your determination to keep going. Lastly, mental toughness is deeply rooted in the ability to control your emotions, particularly in high-pressure or emotionally charged situations. It's easy to react impulsively, to let anger or frustration dictate your behavior, especially when things are not going according to plan. However, mental toughness requires you to be able to pause, reflect, and choose how to respond. It's about having the emotional intelligence to recognize when your emotions might cloud your judgment, and then taking the necessary steps to regain control. When you can manage your emotions effectively, you stay calm, composed, and in control of your actions, which helps you navigate even the most challenging situations with confidence. In summary, developing mental toughness through discipline is essential for overcoming life's challenges and achieving long-term success. It requires embracing discomfort, maintaining focus, bouncing back from failure, managing stress, cultivating a positive mindset, building self-belief, and persevering through adversity. The more you practice discipline, the stronger your mental toughness becomes, and the better equipped you are to face whatever obstacles come your way. Confidence and self-esteem are crucial ingredients for success, as they influence how you approach challenges, handle setbacks, and pursue your goals. When you are confident in your abilities and have a strong sense of self-worth, you are more likely to take risks, push past your limitations, and persist through adversity. Discipline plays a vital role in cultivating both confidence and self-esteem, as it shapes the way you view yourself and your capabilities over time. By consistently demonstrating your ability to follow through on your commitments and take deliberate action toward your goals, you begin to build an inner foundation of confidence that will propel you forward in every area of life. At the heart of building confidence through discipline is the idea that confidence doesn't simply appear out of nowhere. It is built through experience and competence. When you consistently work on developing a skill, a habit, or a practice, you gradually build a sense of mastery in that area. For example, if you're committed to learning a new language, at first, you might feel uncertain or frustrated with your lack of fluency. But as you continue to study and practice every day, you start noticing small improvements. With each new word you learn, Each sentence you can understand, your confidence grows because you're directly experiencing progress. Discipline is the driving force behind this consistency, and it's this consistency that builds your belief in your ability to achieve mastery and reach your goals. Similarly, the process of achieving long-term goals, such as getting a promotion at work, starting a business, or improving your physical health, requires you to consistently take action. With each step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving what you set out to do. This builds confidence in your ability to succeed in the future, even in the face of challenges. Every time you keep your commitment, whether it's writing every day, exercising regularly, or making strides in your career, you reinforce your belief that you can handle whatever challenges lie ahead. This growing self-efficacy is a powerful motivator, making you more resilient to obstacles and increasing your willingness to take on new challenges. Self-discipline also helps you become more resilient to criticism and rejection, both of which can be major threats to your self-esteem. When you regularly demonstrate discipline in your efforts, you start to develop a deeper understanding of your own value and worth. This allows you to separate your sense of self from external validation. In a world where we often seek approval or fear judgment, discipline empowers you to focus on your own personal growth and progress. Instead of relying on others' opinions to validate your worth, you can begin to trust your own judgment and affirm your own strengths. When you know that you're putting in the work, following through on your commitments, and staying true to your goals, external criticism has less power to affect your self-esteem. You learn to view rejection as a stepping stone and as part of the journey to achieving your bigger goals, rather than as a reflection of your worth. As you continue to practice discipline and achieve your goals, you also start to gain a sense of pride in yourself. Each time you stick to a new habit or push through a difficult challenge, you build a reservoir of self-respect. This pride comes from knowing that you are capable of taking action, being consistent, and overcoming obstacles on your own terms. This self-respect nurtures a healthy sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external praise or success, but is rooted in your ability to honor your commitments and push forward, even in difficult circumstances. Moreover, confidence built through discipline extends beyond achieving specific goals. It fundamentally shifts the way you view yourself. Rather than seeing yourself as someone who struggles with discipline or lacks focus, you begin to identify as someone who follows through, takes responsibility, and consistently works toward improvement. This identity shift is powerful because it reinforces your sense of competence and capability. It also reinforces your belief that you can handle challenges, whether they are big or small. When you see yourself as someone who can achieve their goals, it becomes much easier to pursue new endeavors with the same level of commitment and focus. Another way that discipline builds confidence is by helping you overcome fear and self-doubt. Many of us hold ourselves back because we are afraid of failure or of not being good enough. However, when you consistently practice discipline and show up for yourself, you begin to prove that you can face challenges head-on, and that setbacks do not define your ability to succeed. The more you build discipline in your life, the more you learn to trust in your abilities, and this trust directly counteracts feelings of fear and self-doubt. You realize that your efforts matter, that each step forward counts, and that success is built through persistence, not perfection. Additionally, discipline helps you become more mindful of the habits and behaviors that impact your self-esteem. For example, if you practice the discipline of self-care, whether through exercise, nutrition, or mental health practices, you begin to treat yourself with the respect and care that you deserve. These actions, taken consistently, reinforce the idea that you are worthy of success and happiness. On the other hand, neglecting self-care or engaging in self-destructive habits can erode your self-esteem over time. By practicing in the way you treat yourself, you create a positive feedback loop where your actions align with your growing sense of self-worth. Furthermore, building confidence through discipline helps you maintain a sense of control over your life. When you consistently make decisions based on your values and goals, rather than be swept away by external pressures or distractions, you begin to feel more in charge of your destiny. This sense of control is vital for self-esteem, as it reinforces the belief that you are actively creating the life you want, rather than passively reacting to circumstances. When you discipline yourself to stay true to your values, you not only build in your ability to achieve your goals, but also in your ability to create a life that reflects who you truly are. Finally, discipline encourages a mindset of continuous growth, which is key to building lasting self-esteem. As you achieve goals and demonstrate consistency, you realize that growth is an ongoing process, and you become more open to learning, adapting, and evolving. This growth mindset fosters a sense of accomplishment because you see every challenge as an opportunity to learn and improve, rather than as a the more you grow, the more confident you become in your ability to handle anything life throws your way. Discipline, therefore, becomes not just a tool for achieving goals, but a way of constantly evolving into a better version of yourself. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have. Yet it's often the one we squander most easily. Whether it's procrastination, distractions, or simply not knowing where our time goes, poor time management can prevent us from achieving our goals and living our best lives. This is where discipline plays a key role in improving time management. When you practice discipline, you develop the ability to prioritize, focus, and allocate your time in a way that supports your most important goals. Time management is not just about filling your schedule with tasks. It's about making conscious choices that maximize your productivity and give you the freedom to focus on what truly matters. One of the first steps in improving time management through discipline is learning to prioritize effectively. Many people spend their days reacting to whatever task or demand is most urgent, rather than focusing on what's truly important. However, when you exercise discipline, you develop the ability to evaluate your tasks and decide which ones will have the greatest impact on your long-term goals. This involves creating a clear vision of what you want to achieve, and then breaking that vision down into smaller, actionable steps. By consistently working on the tasks that align with your priorities, you can ensure that your time is being used in a way that moves you closer to your objectives, rather than just ticking off items on a to-do list. Effective prioritization also requires the discipline to say no to tasks or distractions that do not contribute to your goals. In our modern world, where distractions are constant and the demands on our time are overwhelming, learning to say no is one of the most important skills you can develop. This means resisting the urge to engage in activities that are not aligned with your values or long-term objectives, even if they seem appealing in the moment. For example, you might need to say no to attending a social event when you know you need to spend the evening working on a project. While this might feel uncomfortable in the short term, practicing discipline in these moments helps you stay focused on your priorities, which ultimately leads to greater success and satisfaction in the long run. Another key aspect of time management is the ability to plan and organize your time effectively. Discipline helps you develop habits around planning that enable you to approach your day with intention and purpose. One of the most effective ways to manage your time is to create a schedule or a to-do list that outlines your tasks for the day, week, or month. This structured approach allows you to allocate specific time blocks for each task, reducing the likelihood of procrastination or wasting time on unimportant activities. By committing to this structure and adhering to it with discipline, you ensure that your time is spent in a way that is both efficient and effective. In addition to planning, discipline helps you stay focused and avoid distractions while working on tasks. In a world filled with constant notifications, emails, and social media alerts, staying focused can be incredibly challenging. However, when you practice discipline, you develop the ability to block out distractions and concentrate fully on the task at hand. This is where time management tools like the Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused intervals with short breaks in between, can be incredibly helpful. By setting aside dedicated blocks of time for deep work and eliminating distractions during those periods, you can accomplish more in less time. Time management also involves knowing how to pace yourself and avoid burnout. It's easy to fall into the trap of overworking when you're disciplined and focused on achieving your goals. However, practicing time management through discipline also means knowing when to take breaks and rest. Overworking yourself can lead to fatigue, decreased productivity, and a lack of motivation. By scheduling regular breaks and taking time for self-care, you ensure that your energy levels remain high and your work remains of high quality. Discipline helps you maintain this balance by preventing you from overexerting yourself while also ensuring that you stay on track with your tasks and commitments. Moreover, discipline helps you manage your time by fostering a sense of accountability. When you commit to a schedule or set a goal, you are holding yourself accountable for following through. This self-accountability encourages you to avoid procrastination and to remain committed to your responsibilities. Having a clear sense of what you need to do and when you need to do it ensures that you stay on task and don't fall into the trap of putting things off until the last minute. Discipline also helps you track your progress and evaluate whether you are managing your time effectively. By periodically reviewing how you are spending your time, you can identify areas where you may need to improve and make adjustments accordingly. The practice of time management through discipline also involves the ability to break larger projects into smaller, more manageable tasks. Large goals can often feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination or a lack of focus. However, when you break a large project down into smaller, actionable steps, it becomes much easier to manage. For instance, if you're working on a big report, instead of trying to complete the entire thing in one sitting, you can break it down into stages, such as research, outlining, writing, and editing. Discipline helps you commit to these smaller tasks to complete them on time, which contributes to the successful completion of the larger goal. Another crucial element of time management is the ability to stay flexible and adapt when things don't go according to plan. Life is unpredictable, and things often don't unfold as expected. However, when you practice discipline, you become better at managing the inevitable changes and disruptions that come your way. Instead of getting frustrated or feeling defeated, you learn how to adjust your plans and stay focused on your goals, even when circumstances change. This adaptability, combined with discipline, allows you to stay on track and make the most of your time, no matter what challenges arise. In addition to these practical strategies, effective time management also requires you to be mindful of your energy levels. Discipline helps you become more attuned to when you are most productive during the day, allowing you to schedule your most demanding tasks during your peak energy times. For example, you know that you are more focused and energized in the morning. You can schedule your most challenging tasks during that time, timing and least demanding activities for the afternoon when your energy levels may be lower. By aligning your time management with your natural rhythms, you can ensure that you are working at your best and making the most of your time. Lastly, disciplined time management also means being intentional about how you spend your downtime. It's easy to fall into the habit of mindlessly scrolling through social media or watching TV during your free time, but true time management involves using your downtime in ways that recharge and refresh you. Whether it's engaging in a hobby, spending time with loved ones, or practicing relaxation techniques, disciplined time management ensures that you use your free time in a way that contributes to your well-being and overall success. Personal growth and development are the cornerstones of a fulfilling and meaningful life. They represent the ongoing journey of becoming a better version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Discipline plays a critical role in fostering personal growth because it drives you to take consistent, intentional actions towards self-improvement. Without discipline, it's easy to become complacent or distracted by the demands and pleasures of daily life, leaving little room for self-reflection or growth. Through discipline, you learn to prioritize your development, commit to your goals, and work steadily toward becoming the person you aspire to be. One of the most powerful ways discipline fosters personal growth is by encouraging a mindset of continuous improvement. When you discipline yourself to consistently work toward your goals, you develop a habit of learning and adapting. Whether it's reading, taking courses, learning new skills, or simply reflecting on your experiences, discipline keeps you in a state of growth. You become more proactive in seeking opportunities to expand your knowledge and broaden your perspective. Rather than waiting for opportunities to present themselves, Discipline leads you to create them. You begin to view each experience as a chance to learn, grow, and improve. And this mindset transforms the way you approach life itself. Discipline also helps you develop a deeper sense of self-awareness, which is crucial for personal growth. In order to improve, you must first understand where you are and where you want to go. Self-awareness involves taking the time to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and habits, and recognizing areas where you can improve. Discipline encourages you to engage in this reflective practice regularly, whether through journaling, meditation, or honest self-assessment. As you develop greater self-awareness, you begin to identify the habits and behaviors that are holding you back, as well as the ones that are propelling you forward. This knowledge allows you to make conscious, deliberate choices about the direction of your life and to eliminate distractions that stand in the way of your growth. Moreover, discipline helps you break free from limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns that often hinder personal development. Many people are held back by self-doubt, fear, or a lack of confidence in their abilities. These mental blocks can prevent you from taking risks, stepping outside your comfort zone, or pursuing new opportunities. However, discipline helps you push through these limiting beliefs by encouraging consistent action, even when you feel afraid or uncertain. As you begin to see the results of your efforts, whether it's achieving a small goal, overcoming a fear, or developing a new skill, you start to challenge and dismantle these negative beliefs. With time, discipline helps you build a more positive and empowering self-image, which further fuels your growth. Another way discipline fosters personal growth is by helping you develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EI, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It is a vital skill for personal and professional success because it influences how you handle relationships, resolve conflicts, and navigate stressful situations. Discipline plays a role in developing EI by encouraging you to practice self-regulation and emotional control. For example, when faced with a challenging or emotionally charged situation, discipline enables you to pause, reflect, and choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. By practicing emotional control in various situations, you can increase your emotional awareness, develop empathy, and respond in ways that contribute to positive outcomes, both for yourself and others. Furthermore, discipline fosters personal growth by encouraging perseverance and resilience, two qualities that are essential for overcoming adversity. Life is full of challenges, and personal growth often requires navigating difficult circumstances. Whether it's a setback in your career, a personal loss, or a health issue, these obstacles can test your resolve and push you to your limits. However, with discipline, you learn to persevere through tough times. You build the resilience necessary to bounce back from failure, setbacks, or disappointment, and to keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough. Discipline helps you maintain your focus and determination, enabling you to keep striving toward your goals, despite the difficulties you encounter. Another significant way discipline promotes personal growth is by cultivating the habit of setting and achieving goals. Goal setting is an essential part of personal development because it provides you with direction, purpose, and motivation. When you practice discipline, you become better at setting clear, actionable goals and following through on them. Rather than simply wishing for change or hoping for success, discipline helps you take concrete steps toward achieving what you want. This not only leads to tangible accomplishments, but also boosts your sense of self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to achieve your objectives. As you accomplish more of your goals, you develop a greater sense of confidence and empowerment, which drives you to continue growing and pursuing new challenges. Discipline also plays a critical role in creating healthy habits, which are the foundation of personal growth. The way you spend your daily life, your routines, your habits, and your behaviors shapes who you are and who you will become. By practicing discipline, you cultivate positive habits that contribute to your growth, such as exercising regularly, eating a balanced diet, and getting enough sleep. These habits not only improve your physical health, but also contribute to your mental and emotional well-being. Discipline helps you stay consistent with these habits, even when motivation wanes or when you're tempted to stray from your routine. Over time, these healthy habits compound, leading to significant improvements in your overall well-being and quality of life. In addition to creating healthy habits, discipline helps you develop a strong sense of responsibility and accountability. As you work toward personal growth, you realize that your success is largely in your hands. You become responsible for your actions, decisions, and outcomes, rather than blaming external circumstances or other people for your challenges. This sense of responsibility empowers you to take control of your life and make intentional choices that align with your values and goals. Discipline also helps you hold yourself accountable to your commitments and to the standards you set for yourself. This accountability reinforces your determination to keep moving forward and to continually improve. Discipline also nurtures the ability to balance various aspects of your life, such as your career, relationships, and personal well-being. Personal growth isn't just about achieving success in one area of life. It's about growing holistically and striving for balance and harmony across all areas. Discipline helps you manage your time and energy effectively, ensuring that you prioritize not only your goals, but also your health, relationships, and self-care. By maintaining this balance, you create a life that is fulfilling and sustainable, one that supports your ongoing growth and well-being. Lastly, discipline encourages the practice of gratitude and mindfulness, which are essential for personal development. When you discipline yourself to focus on the present moment, practice gratitude, and reflect on your progress, you create a positive feedback loop that nurtures growth. Discipline helps you stay grounded in the present, allowing you to appreciate the small victories along the way and stay motivated for the larger goals ahead. By practicing mindfulness and gratitude, you deepen your self-awareness and cultivate a mindset of abundance, which fuels your personal growth and enhances your overall sense of happiness and fulfillment.